My name is Chandler Jordan, and I am the program director of FC Economics. I have lots of familiar faces in the room tonight, so that excites me. That we have what I like to call my repeat offenders. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the sessions and the finance forum. This is our last night. We've got the session now at 7, and then we have another session at 8. So if you have not signed up for a session at 8 and want to, please know that those registrations are still live and you are still able. So that being said, we are super lucky tonight to have the lovely Rhonda Ashburn with us, and she is going to go over some resources from AFSA. And so Rhonda, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you explain a little bit, introduce yourself and explain a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. Thank you, Chandler. And I will just start sharing the screen now. Thanks to Chandler's wonderful teaching. I'm hopeful this will work. Can you all see it now, Chandler? Oh, and I'll run it so you don't have to see. Let's stand by here. There we go. So I'm excited to be a part of your forum. Actually, we've been involved with it for many years, so we're very supportive. And I think Rhonda Fulmer said you have close to 400, so congratulations, that's wonderful. But I am with the AFSA Education Foundation. AFSA stands for American Financial Services Association. They're separate entities. There's an education foundation and then a trade association, and those members are from the vehicle finance space, installment lenders, retail cards, mortgages, different financial services companies that are providing credit to consumers. So the trade association is all about making sure Americans have access to credit. But tonight we're going to talk about MoneySKILL. It's our online personal finance course. And as you can tell from the title slide here, it is free. So that's the best part about it. But we're also going to talk about the benefits that you as a teacher can have, the benefits for the students, even from an administrative standpoint. And then also, of course, we'll give you a chance to ask questions. I'm going to pause. I promised Chandler I'd take a couple chances to pause so you could ask questions, or you can always put them in the chat box. But at the very end, we'll actually go through a demo. So it will give you a chance to kick the tires and actually see the curriculum, and should make it easier once you decide you're ready to register. So first, let me just share a little background about the foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We've been around for 30 years. This is actually our 30th anniversary year. Our mission really is to educate consumers of all ages about money management, but then also importantly, help them understand the benefits of being responsible when it comes to your finances. So I think that's equally as important and can serve as an incentive sometimes, I think, for students in particular. We were actually the first to create an online curriculum. I've been told that I wasn't involved with the foundation at that time, but back in 2002, my predecessor, who also has presented at your conference, Susie Irvine, she and others gathered to create MoneySKILL, and it has evolved with the times. It's certainly not the same as it was back in 2002. I feel it's gotten better day by day, and much of that is because teachers tell us what their needs are, and we make our decisions based upon what they have shared. We do provide virtual trainings and in-person trainings. Obviously now in the days of COVID, that's less likely, but that is a part of our offerings. We also have quite a few supplemental resources. I encourage you to check those out on our website. One in particular, we just came out with a new learning activities guide. It's got 400 digital activities that are available online. It's available within the curriculum. We also have an 8-page resource that lists videos to correlate with the 37 different modules. They're all on YouTube and available. And then there's brochures to talk about APR, understanding vehicle finance, understanding small dollar loans, etc. There's one called a consumer almanac piece that's popular with teachers. So check that out as well. But In addition to the resources, we do have a MoneySKILL Myth Breakers piece that we've created, and you can find that on our website in addition to accessing the curriculum. But let's get into that because that's what you all are most interested in. So I already mentioned we started it in 2002. It is available for you as instructors. We also have quite a few homeschool parents. We work with nonprofits and education administrators across the world since it's online. The modules range from budgeting to insurance, investments. So it dovetails nicely with some of the other financial education tools out there, like the one we were mentioning earlier, the stock market game. It is available in English and Spanish, so you as an instructor can set up your classes in which language you prefer. And the good news, you as an educator can customize it. So if you just want to offer one module in a class, you can do that. You can choose all modules. If you're teaching at the middle school level, you might select the 12 that we've designated for that. But we do now offer for middle school teachers, you can choose all modules if you would feel that your students are at the right level to handle the content. It does align with the national and state standards. In fact, we recently updated that on our website, and you can access now the different links by state. You can get a feel for where personal finances is embedded within your state. So that might be a resource that can help you, especially if you've got requirements that your administrators are requesting that you do that relate to the standards. So on the next slide, I just have given you some of the users. Right now, our highest percentage of users are in the middle school, high school, and college space. As an example, we've got one instructor in Ohio that he's at the college level, and excuse me, he's actually in Indiana, and he actually has had over 2,700 students go through it. So teachers that get engaged with MoneySKILL like it, and they tend to use it forever. Frankly, they always want to incorporate it into their curriculum. And we've listed on this slide a sampling of some of the different topic areas where we're seeing it being used right now. I love to share the example of a plumbing instructor that registered. Also, we've had more recently an electrical instructor. So it's the bottom line is financial education, as you all know, is needed by everybody. So it's good to interweave it into all curriculum areas if that's possible. We are in all 50 states and internationally. You'll get to see a video later that mentions we've had over 6,000 users, but now we're over 1 million users and growing. As you can imagine, with remote learning becoming more popular, we've seen an increase. We've had 47% more new teachers register and 38% more new students, about 19,000 students additional compared to the same period last year. So that's been a silver lining to the challenges that I know you all have had to face daily when it comes to the remote learning environment. It is beneficial. Of course, I'm a little partial, but it's helpful for students, teachers, because it's ready to go. You just kind of like the picture there, you just add water and watch it grow. And I feel that that's really important. It's difficult as a financial educator to be an expert. You simply can't be an expert in every single area. So with the content being online, there are 10 questions per module, and we've worked with experts to help us create those. You don't have to be the expert. The students can self-direct themselves based upon how you've set up the class. It doesn't require special training. I mean, we're certainly open to that and willing to provide that and see the advantages of that. But for MoneySKILL, it is ready to go. It is online. It's definitely suited for that environment, mobile friendly, etc. We're proud that in our annual teacher survey last May, we had 100% of the respondents say they would use it again, and that's up from 96%. So that is what we like to hear, and we're thankful for that. We did work with Dr. Lou Mandel years ago to start the curriculum, and he conducted a research study years back and concluded that there's a 50% higher percentage score for students that go through when you're comparing to their pre-test. So we're very proud of that statistic. let me stop right there, Chandler. And if there's any questions on what I've covered so far, I'll answer those and hopefully have a little interaction from our teachers.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, or if you just want to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, we have a quiet audience.
Yep, there may be some later on.
That's okay, no worries. I'm gonna say that I was doing so good you didn't have any questions.
Exactly.
This, and I'm just teasing, you guys know I'm teasing, but this will be fun. So this is a video that we actually produced before I got on board with the foundation. They went to a school that's using MoneySKILL out in Glendora, California. So you're going to get to hear from the teachers, the students, and the principals. So here you go.
I'm Mary McDowell, CEO of One Main Financial. I'm also a longtime AFSA member, and I'm pleased to speak to you about MoneySKILL, an important financial education program developed by the AFSA Education Foundation. We all know the importance of helping our customers feel confident about making financial decisions that are right for them and their families. Building that confidence and understanding starts at an early age and can last a lifetime. But educators and school administrators told us they needed help to provide their students critical money management skills. Our association can help, and that's why MoneySKILL was formed. The goal is to make high-quality personal financial education accessible to young adults nationwide without financial burden on the schools, teachers, or students.
The class I teach is called College and Career Planning. It's primarily addressed to the freshmen, and the ultimate goal is to give kids an idea of what their possibilities are once they leave high school.
CCP is, really where I found out what I wanted to do with my life, the direction that I wanted to take it.
CCP just really gives you a perspective of what's going to be in your future and what you can look forward to.
One of the most important components of the class is MoneySKILL, and it's an important part because it allows kids to get a very realistic look at some very important features of money.
My colleague and I, we were discussing how kids didn't really have an understanding of money. They thought just because their parents had a check in the checkbook or they had a credit card that funds were unlimited.
Nationwide education is realizing in our society the way we are now, we have a real crisis when it comes to teaching students about financial literacy. I remember growing up watching my mom and dad pay bills and budget and do all those things once a month at the kitchen table. And in our cashless society, our kids watch us swipe debit cards. They have no concept.
We decided to do a financial literacy component in our college and career planning class. I went online and just did a Google search, and up pops MoneySKILL, and it was exactly what we were looking for.
Every school has limited budgets. So the great thing about MoneySKILL is you have this wonderful program, very easy to use, very user-friendly, no cost. And so when we discovered this online, it was a no-brainer.
The fact that this would be embedded in a curriculum on our campus that every student had exposure to was what really attracted us to the MoneySKILLs program. It works seamlessly within their curriculum and is just something that students desperately need to have exposure to.
Part of education is the idea that you start with something foundational and you build upon it. But here they are entering high school, and a lot of them have nothing with which to build upon. So for many of them, this is the foundational aspect of learning about money itself.
MoneySKILL helped me just realize that it really does matter. Like your parents tell you all the time, financials matter and paying for college matters and your taxes matter, but you really don't realize that until it's actually put in front of you and you get to read about it and learn about it.
It just opens your eyes to the real world, and it shows you how important it is to learn money skills and how important it is to utilize it when you go to college and in your future.
Education is the focal point of our society, yet oftentimes is underfunded and undersupported. So to have private corporations who recognize that students need this extra support and are willing to step up, the support we've gotten from the MoneySKILLs and AFSA is just beyond anything that you're used to seeing on a regular basis in education.
To date, more than 640,000 students have enrolled in MoneySKILL, and that number increases daily. The foundation is now reaching beyond the traditional high school setting and making the program available to colleges, homeschooling groups, employers, nonprofit organizations, and community career centers.
Thank you, for, making someone who's only 14 realize that, money really does matter. And it's not impossible to get to where you want to be just based on your finances. There's ways to work on it and fix it.
This MoneySKILL program, a financial literacy component is ultimately important because we don't, as educators, it's not important just to educate kids on math, science, history, and English. It's important to educate the whole child.
I hope you share my pride in the MoneySKILL program quality and impact. I also hope you'll help the AFSA Education Foundation grow the program and make it even more successful. As you take part in your many community activities, please promote awareness of personal money management skills. Let schools and organizations in your area know that MoneySKILL is available at no charge, and encourage them to find out more about the program and how MoneySKILL can support them, their students, clients, or employees. Thank you.
Whoops, just a second here. There we go. So hopefully you enjoyed that. We also have other videos, like a teacher one, and an AFSA leader and his employees provide a perspective as well on our website. You're welcome to check those out in addition to the ones that correlate with the curriculum. And we're doing new videos to go with each of the modules to make it a little bit more interactive and give the students the what's in it for me perspective when they first start the module. So we're excited about that. But now we're going to give you all a chance to kick the tires, as the saying goes. And Chandler, I think I probably need to, oh, there we go. I saw someone was trying to get admitted. So first you'll come to our website, and it's just AFSA EF is for educationfoundation.org. And you'll just want to click on the new instructors button there. Once you do that, you will have a form like this that pops up. And we simply do this just to make sure that we don't have any bad actors out there. We want it to be teachers and not students, obviously, that are going into the curriculum. So I suggest that you use your teacher school address for your email if you can. That's helpful to us to help validate. But you'll get a password back after you have submitted this. Sometimes if the school firewalls are super strong, it may go into your spam or junk folder, but you'll be on the lookout for that. And then what happens is you'll just come back to our webpage and enter through the approved instructor button right there, your credentials. It will be a pretty non-user-friendly password, but you can change that later in that it's going to be so that no one can use it initially, other than you, I should say. So we do have a brand new look on the video. You probably saw it was a little dated, and that was one of the first things that I felt. I worked for a youth organization for 24 years, and I felt like it needed to be just have a little bit more refreshing, more modern look. So we have updated that. This is the instructor login area where you'll put your name and your password that we provide. And then you'll come to the opportunity to make or create a class. So by clicking on that button, you'll be able to set the class up as you would like. You'll see on the left, there's different options like the class dashboard, the resources that are available that we offer, such as the videos, an admin area, an area we recently just added. You can preview the curriculum. We had a unique workaround before. For those of you that might have used the curriculum in the past, we suggested that you put yourself in as a student. That worked, but this is much more user-friendly, and you can look at the curriculum and not have to do that additional step. Also, if you have selected a particular class with default modules, we have that listed here as well. We do have, and I could do a little plug for it, we have a brand new instructor guide. We've always offered it, but we just recently made it more user-friendly and designed it so it's more visually attractive, and that will take you through this process. But I'm probably partial, but it's pretty intuitive and simple to follow. Also note, and I'll show this to you again later, but if for any reason you do have technical challenges related to the curriculum, you can contact to support, and that by clicking on contact support, it'll go to the team. So myself, our Director of Financial Education Outreach, and other technical folks that can assist you. So here's the class setup screen. You're going to put in the name of the class, the level, whether you're doing English or Spanish. We do have the option of retake. So if you'd like to have a threshold for the students, a percentage where they'll be allowed to take retakes, you can insert the number of days if you want to give them a certain amount of time before they can take the retakes. And then on the right here, you can enable whether they finish the modules in the order you've provided or in a random order. You can disable the pre-post test, allow the post test before the curriculum is completed. You can hide the calculator. I would discourage that. The curriculum is pretty robust, and there's quite a bit of math. It's we definitely support the M in STEM for this, because there are math problems throughout, and that's, I think, important. You can also, and I would discourage this, but if you would like, you can hide the email teacher from area, and then you'll put in what you want the date start and date end times to be. And then presto, you'll create your class by clicking on the blue button there. Here's actually the modules. So you'll see from this, and you can toggle to enable or enable what modules you want. You can also drag and drop. So let's say you want to do lifetime plan before the plans we have for our lives. You can just click on that and drop it into the first location there. The icon that looks like a little piece of paper there, click on that and you'll see the objectives. So you have access to those. At the top, this is just a small class that we did for this workshop, but you can tell the number of students, the average score, and then how much they have completed. And that was all driven by teachers telling us that they needed to have access to that information. Up here in the right-hand corner, I'm the test user, so your email will show up there, and then you can edit. So this is the area where you'll handle administration of your account, like your password and that type of thing. And then we'll keep on trucking here, and I'll show you some of the other features that are provided. So this is where in the test class you would enter a student or students. You can actually import students via a spreadsheet if you've got that available, and then that will automatically, of course, input what's on the spreadsheet. But if you would like, we highly recommend that you don't put any personal private information. So there is a way, and my colleague helped me with this. So you're going to click on the import students link, import the roster of students, and then that will generate random usernames and passwords. So that'll save you a lot of time, and it'll protect the privacy of the students. As you can see from the bottom here, we have a sample student, the username, password. It'll show you when they last logged in. You can edit that. You can look at the retakes, the grades. We also have the certificate. So at the end, if you would like to provide some credentialing to the students, you can do that. You can transfer the student or delete the student. So there's quite a few options under that student tab. Here's a sample test class with the grades. They've already been exported here. So it shows you the percentage for this test student number 408. They got 11% on the pre-test and then 10% on the first module that they took. Another feature that we offer is it gives you the time. So the amount of time the student has spent. That was driven by teachers saying that they needed that information. Here, if you click on the completion certificates, you'll get those. You can print the grades, etc. A feature that we offer, I assume that many of you have your favorite go-to resources that complement different topics. And so you can actually upload those and then have that be a part of the work for the students. So it's pretty simple. Just click on upload and put the particular handouts in that complement the resources. We did, and I'll pause here and share, we did actually just come out with a brand new learning activities guide that's within the curriculum. There's close to over I think it's right at like 360 resources, so close to 400 that you can use. It's divided by module, very user-friendly, all digital, and you can just click on that within the curriculum and particular module and use that with your students. On this particular screen, you'll see we've got the admin area. If you are co-teaching and you want to give access to another instructor, click there and just follow along. And again, the contact support button is available there. This is a test class that you could also recreate. So by clicking on that button at the bottom. So if you get a class that you will be using again next semester, it makes it really user-friendly for that. So there's our contact information. I was probably going kind of quickly there, but this way it'll give you all a chance to ask questions. And
yeah, I was going to say there's quite a few questions.
Okay, good. All right, well, that gives you a good summary, and I'll turn it back to Chandler. I have to say one quick story though. When I did my student teaching, I did it in Chandler, so it's easy to remember her name, but she's been very helpful. So how about if I'll stop sharing, and then we can see each other.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so the first question, well, actually it's my question. I know that the resources are free. The manual that you were showing, is there a way for teachers to get access to that at no cost as well?
Yes, Vanna White here. So yes, you can actually, there's no cost, and it's available within the curriculum. So once you go in there, I believe it's under the resources tab.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of the questions. One of the questions was that they had used this program about 10 years ago, and they wanted to know if that account would still be active or if they needed to create a new account.
That's a very good question. So you can try it. You can try it. I'm pausing because we did a major update in 2017. And so it's possible. I think the best first step is to try it. And then if it doesn't work, feel free to reach out to us, and what we can do is reset your password. So. Perfect.
And then we had a teacher who said they used it last year. So that was fantastic. Another teacher asked if there is the possibility to link the student's account to their Google account. So are there any integrations with like Google Classroom or any of that yet, or is that coming?
I hope it's coming. It's driven by funding, as you all can imagine. And with us doing these 38 videos right now, that's our big ticket item that we're working on, and other things. But we have had some preliminary discussions, so stay tuned for more. Hopefully someday we'll be able to offer that, but just not yet.
Awesome. There was a question earlier on about recommendations for teaching. Got a teacher who wants to teach 5th and 6th grade students. I wanted to know if, well, number one, do you think the program is appropriate? And if so, are there particular topics that you think are best for those students?
That's a very good question. As I mentioned earlier, it's pretty robust. I would encourage you to preview it because I know every 5th grader can be different. I would also encourage you to check out our resources. In particular, I think the Consumer Almanac that we offer in our resources section, you can copy that. We partnered with a government agency, so it's public content. That's a good resource. I think the content that's simpler, like budgeting, savings, you may find using you as a teacher being involved more and using our resources like the videos that we have within those modules, you might be able to kind of piggyback off of that and get the students to use the curriculum. But it is pretty comprehensive and robust. I hate to overuse that word. But.
No, but like you said, they can pick and choose what they use. So if you're starting with a younger group of students, then maybe you only pick a couple of the topics. Whereas if you're teaching high school seniors, maybe you want them to go a little more in a deep dive. So no, that's that flexibility and that fact that autonomy that you can create a class. Another question was, how long on average does it take for a student to complete each module?
It's about 20 to 40 minutes. So it's a good 25 hours plus overall to complete the whole curriculum.
Okay, perfect. We have one teacher with us that used it back when it was on a CD. So we'll say that was like last year, right?
She's identifying herself. Well, thank you. You're an early adopter, is what we call you, Beth.
All right, and it looks like Vicki was able to get in. So her account was set up in 2008, but she is back in. That's awesome.
Cool.
I don't know, I think I got all of the questions. If I skipped one, you guys are welcome to unmute yourself if you have any additional questions. If you want to know maybe more of what's included or just anything, you guys are welcome to either type in the chat or unmute yourself.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some brave people there. I'm happy to address any questions, but I do want to plug just a little bit more, especially for the instructor that has the younger audience. The video, it's called a supplemental video handout that we created. It's 8 pages and it's got every single module with several available videos to complement that module. And we worked with Dr. Barb O'Neill out of Rutgers, who recently retired from there. She compared, this is interesting, you all, she did her sabbatical and looked at literally, I think, over 1,000 videos and compared them to a set of criteria. So those would be good for that younger audience, and it makes it more interactive and fun. So, and I feel like, here's my philosophy. There's a lot of materials out there. We're not just about ours. We feel like that you can collaborate, work together. Ours complements the ones that are out there. And obviously we haven't solved the solutions, or we wouldn't have some of these societal issues that we see every day. So I encourage you to reach out if we can help you in any way. If you have an idea or a suggestion of something that we can do on down the road, we're certainly open to that. Anyone have a question before we?
So Rhonda, one question was, is there any way that you have the ability to show like a comprehensive view of the different modules that are available? Do you have a screen, or what is the best?
I don't, but I'm glad that they mentioned that, because a couple things. There is on our website an FAQ document, and there's a MoneySKILL 2-pager brochure that shows all the modules. So you could use that with an administrator if you wanted to make the case to offer it. The best way, even if you're not 100% sure that you're going to teach it, use the curriculum, you can still go in and register as long as you're an educator, and we'll approve you. And then you can get a better feel for if it's a good match for what you'd like to do with your class. I mean, we have teachers that have been using it, well, as we've demonstrated here tonight, for many, many years, and they then kind of add their own, special touches. Some incorporate note-taking and different things like that to make it more user-friendly for their class.
I just went to the website real quick and dropped in the chat a link to that brochure that she was referencing. So you guys can check that, because one of the questions was, are there any modules that deal with entrepreneurship?
Yes, the short answer is yes. There are some. There's one in particular. Our titles are pretty high-level titles, which works well for a so I don't have it memorized, but yes, it's definitely mentioned within the modules. And it's presented in a fashion to help the students understand that this is a career path, and what are the advantages of that, and how does that work from a financial standpoint, to help them understand, because that's kind of a unique way to go, right? But obviously now with a gig economy, very, very a high number of users for that.
No, that's perfect. Any other questions? Does anyone want to share their experience? I know we've got a couple of people in the Zoom that have used the program before. I don't know if you have any best practices or hints and tips that you might want to share, or if there are any remaining questions.
I used it last year, Chandler, and we enjoyed it. We also used the videos that came along with it. I used it in my family consumer sciences class for 9th through 12th graders, and it worked. One thing I think the students did like is that it had one question, and then the paragraph, they would read it. So as soon as they answered the question, they were able to see whether they got it right or wrong. And so they could flip back and forth and it allowed them to be at their own pace in class. And then if they didn't understand it, being the instructor, I could come and provide some support. So I do plan to use it again this year. And I do like the fact that you can pick the modules that you want. You can mute and unmute. You can go back and forth as you like. It's quite flexible. And I do think the videos help out a lot with the program.
Well, thank you, Juanita. I love that. I get all kinds of feedback, but I especially like the positive feedback.
No, I think that's great. It sounds like it sets up very well in this like hybrid virtual kind of world that we're all living in, where half your kids are in Zoom and half of them are in person. So no, that's fantastic. I think it's a great resource. I just looked at the brochure. Man, there are a lot of modules out there. So it is very comprehensive, I would say. And so, but the fact that you have the flexibility to pick and choose, and then I love that you have the option to upload other resources, because we all have our favorites, right? There are certain things that we always go back to. So that is awesome. Well, I'm going to ask if there are any more questions one more time. And if not, we can wrap up. Rhonda, can you share your contact information one more time with us? If you can just share that part of your screen, I want to make sure that they have time to be able to reach out to you if there are any questions. If you've already closed it out, don't worry.
No, you're helping me practice here.
I'm giving her a Zoom test right now.
It's like the post-test.
Awesome. Yes, it's the post-test, and she passed it. No, that's fantastic. I just want them to be able to get in touch with you in case they have any questions further on. This is a great resource. And again, one of our favorite things at SA Economics is that you guys are providing this at no cost. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. I will go ahead and dismiss you whenever. Please know that I am going to send out an evaluation. It will be coming from me, Chandler Jordan, on Thursday morning. That evaluation is what will get you credit for attending the finance forum and also make you eligible for that $50 incentive. Remember, if you join 2 or more sessions with us, and you still have an opportunity to attend one at 8 o'clock if you're interested. So you can knock out 2 sessions and earn $50 upon completing that evaluation. This session has been recorded and will be available on our YouTube page. In about a week, we're going to do some trimming, and make sure it's all nice and fancy before we broadcast it. So if you know anyone else in your school or at your district that might be interested, please share these resources out with them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Rhonda. We're here to support you. It is our jobs to be support and to help you teach financial literacy or personal finance and financial literacy to your students. I will stick around in case there are any additional questions, but other than that, you guys have a lovely night.